Hi, I'm Madison and welcome back to my channel. Today I have some single dad romance recommendations for you. So single parent romance is one of my favorite romance books to read, hands down. Now it can be single mom, single dad, single whatevers, but this video here is specifically going to be focusing in on single dads. Now I've got 5 recommendations for you today. That being said, there are many different single dad recommendations that are out there that I have read that I absolutely adore, but you know, wanted to curate this list a little bit, so without further ado, let's get into it. The very first book I have for you guys today is Forbidden Hearts by Corinne Michaels, which just came out in the beginning of June. This is obviously a single dad romance, but it is also an age gap and nanny romance as well. You're following Asha and Phoebe. Phoebe is currently in her master's program at college. She is studying speech pathology, and she ends up leaving school early for unknown reasons. And when she returns back to her hometown, you know, her dad ends up letting her know that one of his employees needs a nanny for the summer and asks if she will do it. And she ends up agreeing because of the fact that this dad, his daughter is deaf and needs a nanny who knows ASL. Initially, Asha actually doesn't want to hire Phoebe because obviously Phoebe is his boss's daughter. There's like a 14-year age gap between the two of them, and he thinks that Phoebe is irresponsible. Phoebe ends up staying with him as like a trial run nanny, and like on the very first 2 days she like fucks something up and he's like, I am not keeping you. She's like please just give me a second chance, like I promise I can do this. And then as like the days start to go on, Asha begins to realize that he is actually attracted to Phoebe, and he's like, oh no, this is bad. And off the bat, Phoebe's like super attracted to Asha, but she just got over a relationship with another older man that did not end well and was very emotionally toxic. And so she is very hesitant to go into anything with Asha because of that. And so you've got these two people who are living together, are experiencing all these different things, who are both mutually pining for one another but refuse to act on it. And it is absolutely amazing. I loved it so much. Phoebe was one of my favorite heroines. She was so sweet and so amazing, and like her growth throughout the book and her kind of showing everyone, because everyone thinks that she is unreliable and untrustworthy, and the fact that they still judge her so much based on her past and how she kind of works to try and show everyone how much she has matured in this new person that she has become. Also, her and Asha are just like the sweetest couple ever. I absolutely adored them, and it's just like such a great small town romance. So if you are looking for anything that's like within those vibes, definitely 100% check this one out. Then we have The Bombshell Effect by Karla Sorenson. This follows Luke and Paige. Now, Paige's dad owned the Washington Wolves football team. Her dad was a very rich man. He just recently passed away. Now, Paige and her dad were a bit estranged, but when he passes away, she ends up finding out that he left her a bunch of stuff in the will, but most importantly, he actually left her the Washington Wolves football team. So upon his death, she actually inherited it as the new owner for this amazing football team. And so she's come back to the US in order to figure out if she's going to stay on as the owner of the football team or, you know, sell it to someone else, because she's never owned a football team before. She's very flighty. All of her business adventures have never like really worked out. She's just kind of lived her life as like a very famous model. And then you've got Luke, who is one of the captains of the Washington Wolves football team. He has a daughter, and his entire life is either football or his daughter, and that's it. And when Paige comes back to the US, she ends up moving into one of her dad's many like houses, and one of them ends up being the house that is right next door to Luke. So on the very first day, she goes over there to be nice and like greet her new neighbor with cupcakes. Luke thinks that she's like a crazy fan who has like figured out where he lives and is like so mean to her, and so she's like a bitch back to him. And the next day they see each other like at the football like stadium, and they're like, oh. And so there's like a little bit of like enemies to lovers like kind of mixed in with it, because he wants nothing to do with her and she's just trying to be friendly with everyone, and it's their romance. I absolutely adored it. His daughter is in love with Paige off the bat. She thinks that Paige is just like the most amazing human being, and there's like, oh my god, there's one scene in here with a sexual tension. There's like a whole photo shoot scene. Oh my god, it was so hot. Like one of the hottest scenes, hands down. It was so freaking good. I loved it. Like if you love sport romances. This is one of my favorite sport romance books of all time, and so I freaking adore the crap out of it. It's also a really short, really quick read, and so yes. Then we have Until You by K Bromberg. This is a single dad, small town, forced proximities, neighbors romance with a little bit of suspense put into it. So following ᴛɪධᴛᴏᴜ, he is from Chicago, but a very traumatic event has just happened, so he is actually taking a leave of absence and is actually going to spend the summer in his hometown of Redemption Fall with his twins by staying at one of his uncle's properties. He ends up finding out there's a cottage as a part of it that is currently being rented out by this gorgeous and mysterious stranger, and that is ᴛɪ. ᴛɪ has been living in Redemption Falls for 2 years now. She's very guarded, very introverted. She's kind of moved there because she wanted a life of like peace and quiet, but obviously Crew and his twin girls now coming in has kind of like sparked some things in her life, and the two of them very instantly have this like chemistry that goes on between them. But obviously he's had a lot of things going on, and ᴛɪ came to Redemption Falls to kind of escape her past, and now is wondering whether or not her past is going to come back and haunt her. And so there's like a little bit of suspense in this as well, but it's more that small town romance vibes. You guys are absolutely gonna love this. Like, he is such a sexy and swoony single dad. Also, the twin girls are the cutest things in the entire world. They are so adorable. I love when like the kids, especially in these like single dad books, like also like such massive characters, which is definitely the case here. Oh, they were so cute. Then switching themes a little bit, we've got Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas. Now, this is an age gap romance, single dad. It's a girl getting with her boyfriend's dad. So you've got Jordan, you've got Pike. Now, Jordan has been dating her boyfriend for a couple of years now. They live together, but after an unfortunate incident, they have been kicked out of their apartment, and now Jordan and her boyfriend have to move in with her boyfriend's dad in order for them to like get back on their feet. And the boyfriend's dad, his name is Pike. Now, Jordan and Pike met a day before this, not knowing who each other was, and kind of had an instant spark of connection. And so when they officially meet in like proper capacities, they're kind of shocked to learn who the other person is. And so Jordan ends up living there with the two of them for a couple months, and there is no cheating. Like, Jordan and Pike don't get together while Jordan is still with her boyfriend, like that sort of whole thing here. But they do live together, and they do get to know each other, and the tensions and everything start really rising in their attractions while she is still in this relationship with her boyfriend. And her boyfriend sucks, quite honestly. Her boyfriend is one of the worst human beings in the entire world. He's just not a good boyfriend. Like, from the very beginning, he was at like -5 and Pike was like at a 0, and so as the book went on, Pike like kept gaining points and doing better and better things and becoming this amazing man, and the boyfriend just kept, I don't even remember his name. That's how awful he is. He just kept going lower and lower and lower. He had like one redemption point at the very end, and that was it. But Pike was literally the sweetest to Jordan. Like, Jordan wants to be a landscaper, so he ends up building a whole garden in the backyard for her so she can like do landscaping shit, and like he buys her a birthday cake and like all this other nice stuff. Oh my god, he was so swoony. He was so swoony. I was so surprised. And you know what else? It's quite a large age gap. She's 19 and he's 38, but it never felt creepy, which I feel like can sometimes be the case, is that you can kind of read these and be like, oh, that makes me a little uncomfortable. But I never, ever, ever once while reading this felt like I was uncomfortable with the age gap, which is a huge bonus. So it's a single dad romance, but it's not like a single dad in the sense of like, oh, his child's like 5 years old. No, it's a grown ass child is what's going on here. So it's a little bit of a different speed for you. And last but not least, we have got Runaway Love by Melanie Harlow. This is a single dad, nanny, runaway bride romance. This follows Austin and Veronica. Now, Veronica is supposed to get married. It's the day of her wedding, and 2 hours before she's supposed to walk down the altar, she gets a text from her fiance, which is a dick pic followed by, had a great night last night with you, can't wait to see you again. And Veronica sits there and goes, oh, I didn't say, okay, no, I didn't see you last night. Why am I? Yep, finds out her fiance has been cheating on her, so she ends up kind of, you know, rejecting the marriage and running away. The only problem is that she has nothing to her name. Everything that she ever had was under her fiance's name, so she has $0, 0 belongings, 0 anything, and she's stranded in this small town. She ends up hearing that there is a single dad in town looking for a temporary nanny for the summer, and so Ronnie ends up showing up at his house to interview for the position, and the guy's like, what the actual F? Because she rocks up in her wedding dress. He's like, this woman's crazy. And he's like, do you have any qualifications? And she goes, I was a rocket, so not really. And he goes, why would I hire you? Anyway, he takes pity on her, lets her stay over for the night so she can get her bearings and like leave the next day. They end up kissing that night because there's undeniable sexual chemistry between them. The next day, he ends up actually agreeing to let her be the nanny for the summer as like a trial basis. And the only rule is that they cannot like kiss ever again. They have to like be platonic. And so the book is so much fun because obviously you know that they're super into each other, and the sexual tension in this book is that like it's a burning sexual tension and the chemistry throughout the entire book. It is so good. It is so much fun. I was living for the two of them. Also, like Austen is such like a grump and Ronnie is such a sunshiny character, and so the grump and sunshine in this is like to the max, and it was so much fun watching Ronnie like kind of like break down his walls and like get him to let her in, and like all the hijinks that ensued from that, and I was just living for it. It was so much fun. And like I said, the sexual tension, oh, you could cut it with a knife. It was that thick in this book. It was so, so good. So yes, those are my 5 single dad romance books. Let me know down below what some of your favorite single dad romances are, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to click the like button down below if you want to see more of me. Please subscribe to my channel, and until next time, thanks so much everyone. Bye!